It's time to check your money with Vicki Brackens, president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and Michael Jennings, wealth advisor and financial planning associate, both with Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, a registered representatives of LPL Financial member SIPC. All right.
You
Vicki,
got that whole thing out, didn't you?
Vicki and Michael, it's good to see y'all together. It's it's been a minute since the family has been all together.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. In fact, I think the last time we were all together was when Mike was kicking off the Friendly Neighborhood Advisor
Which was a couple of years
a
ago.
couple of
Wow.
years ago. Okay.
Yeah, almost three.
Oh,
Almost.
really?
Yes. Okay. Time is flying by, George. Okay. It's
It
absolutely
is.
flying. So I hope that everyone realizes that, first of all, let me say this. Congratulations to Mike for an incredible job that he's been doing as far as the Friendly Neighborhood Advisor for the last 3 years. Secondly, if we are here together, it probably means the message that we have to communicate to everyone has a high level of importance.
Some serious business.
But so, yes, okay, make sure you are paying attention today. What do they tell you there in church? Put your pen down, pay
Uh,
attention, take some notes, because
okay.
there's some important things that we really need to discuss today. So, Mike and I, okay, and have been really looking at the fact that, and I'm sure you have, George, that what was it, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago? Time's is so weird right now. Okay, that shortly after the tariffs were announced, and there was this big Rose Garden presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened, Mike? The market did what? Splat. Okay.
I don't even know the word for it. I used to say unprecedented. I've been saying that a lot. I got to find a new word that
Okay.
even more unprecedented than unprecedented.
Exactly. I just call it splat. The market just went splat all over the place. Uh, and then about 2 or 3 days, I think it was like that following weekend, the new chairman, okay, as far as the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, pulled the president's coattail and basically said, you have to make a change here, because one of the things that happened was that the bond market started to actually show severe strain around what was going on as far as the bond market and the interest rate run up that we were getting almost instantly. Well, what came next was a 90-day pause. A 90-day pause was announced. And what did you notice about the market then, Mike? What happened after the 90-day pause?
Oh, the markets went right back up. It's
Went right back up. It was like we went right down and right back up, like you came. What is that? The cyclone at Coney Island? You hit the
Right.
bottom and came and climbed right back up. So that tells me, and I'm sure many of the people who are attuned to the market, and also just anyone who's watching the news, that the change in direction was received well.
Mm.
That should be an indication that you need to really change everything that you're doing, because obviously not only the market but the entire economy responded well. Well, unfortunately, what we have right now is what we call the 90-day pause.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that 90-day pause that Mike and I want to talk about tonight. I
Yeah.
talk about this afternoon, this morning. We want to talk about
Oh,
the 90
whenever,
day.
listen,
That's
whenever
all
you
I'm
see
talking
this,
about.
we want to talk about it. Okay.
Exactly. And okay, this 90-day pause, we're calling we need a prep plan for this, because when that
Mm.
ends, and it probably won't end right on the 90 days, but when that time period starts getting shorter and shorter, some of the things, the effects of what we were anticipating when the initial announcement was made will have started to work through the system and become more and more evident.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to start with a couple of things. I'm going to turn it over to Mike. He's going to talk about a couple of things, but we really want everyone to understand the framework, that what we're really seeing is the fact that when the tariffs were announced, it wasn't as though the market reacted, but the entire economy had not had time for things to filter through for the reaction, because the market is front running
Mm.
in anticipation of, because we can
Right.
see and we have history and so forth, know what's going on. So here's some of the things that we're starting to see already, and we need to start paying attention to. Okay. You may be thinking, wow, gas prices have gone down. That's a great thing. Right? Have you noticed how low gas prices have got?
I mean, I haven't really noticed it, but okay.
It's like I filled up for 260 the other day.
Okay. Where?
260.
No,
Well,
see, where you live, it's always lower though.
you just tell everybody where I live.
I didn't say where you live, but it's lower where you live consistently. Whenever I visit your neighborhood, it's low.
Okay, you're right.
Okay.
Okay, but even where you live, it's lower.
Not that though.
It's not as low as mine, but it is lower. Okay.
Well, George, you got to find a street with more than one gas station. That's the trick. You need
There you go, Jill. Tell
you need
him.
some healthy competition, right?
Well, see, now where you live, there's a whole lot of them. I'm laughing. Vicki knows what I'm talking about.
I do. But still, even if it's not the 260 that I filled up with, if you look at the spot price, okay, it's somewhere between $57 a barrel and 62, where it had been as high as 80 to 90. Okay?
Yeah.
And you would think that that's a good thing, and in some ways it is, depending on what it is telling us.
Yes.
Okay, and what it's telling us is that the economy is slowing down. Production is slowing down. Usage is slowing down. Sometimes prices go down because of OPEC pumping a lot, getting a lot of gas into the system, getting a lot of crude and oil into the system. That's not it right now. It's because production is slowing down, productivity is slowing down, and usage is slowing down, which means less economic activity. That is not a good thing. But it takes a while for those things to start to filter through the system. So right now, go ahead and get some cheap gas. But if you go back and think about it, when was the last time we started to see $2.50, $2.80, things of that nature? Do you recall?
I don't.
Mike, you recall when?
I was right around 2020, 2021.
2021. What was going on?
Pandemic.
Pandemic. Okay, now I'm not saying we have another pandemic, but we had the same level. Everything got shut down. Everything got slower. Business got slower. People weren't moving as much. Productivity started to slow down. So we're starting to trend toward those types of levels. What's some other things, Mike, that you can think of? Okay, you want to add into some of the things that are starting to happen?
Well, like you said, we're starting to see a lot of retail spending numbers up, which, you kind of think, with gas prices going down, you think that means people are spending less in that regard. But we can also see on the opposite end, retail spending numbers are up, and it's because people are getting nervous about these tariffs, right? It's not a light switch where, click on one day, tariffs are here. Well, I mean, that is how it happens, but we got a little bit of cushion as far as when it happens, and people are nervous. Small business owners are in a panic throughout the nation. People that the business relies on certain manufacturing things, right? We got to think of the system that we live in. America, it's go to any American history lesson, that America has spent a lot of time, power, and energy creating these economic systems all over the globe. So for anyone to expect that, we're going to turn these tariffs on and all of a sudden manufacturing is going to magically come back to the USA, that is not the case. That's not the case. These are things that takes time, that takes planning, that takes years. It'll be years before a lot of these supply chains and manufacturing arms come back into America. If they do, we don't know what the situation will be at that point. But for now, people are nervous and they're spending a lot trying to, like you said, Vicki, front run some of those purchases so they're not hit with a tariff hike.
Yeah, and which means that even though we're seeing, like you said, that spending up, it could give you a false impression. Right?
Correct.
Yep.
We've got to pull the covers back on everything that we're looking at. So when you see the headline, like Mike was saying, and you, George, the headline saying that, oh, consumer spending in March was higher. Why was it higher? Okay. And if you start to investigate and have conversations with those people who are, it's because I'm trying to get ahead of the game. I'm trying to make sure that I have the supplies that I need as far as manufacturing. So I'm stockpiling. I'm trying to make sure that I get that car that doesn't have a tariff on it. Because auto tariff, if you look at lots right now, the car dealers are happy because things are moving.
They're moving them cars.
They're moving them off, okay, but they have nothing to replace them with. Okay, coming because of what's around the corner. So the spending may be up, but it's a front running. It's almost like we're pushing everything through the system right now that we can, in hopes that we can save a little money before. And I told everybody to do that. Remember, I told them to go out and stockpile.
Right.
Because we're going to have some issues getting things on the shelves. Here's the other thing, and I know Mike and I, we were discussing this the other day, because layoffs, we were talking about layoffs. Layoffs haven't increased yet. And somebody said, well, Vicki, maybe y'all are wrong because there's no layoffs. And I haven't heard, a lot of news. There's some, but they haven't heard, as far as the government and Doge and so forth, but nothing associated with tariffs. I haven't heard really a lot about layoffs and tariffs. Maybe you were wrong. Well, guess what's really happening, George?
What's really happening?
Hours worked are down.
Mm-hmm.
So employers are stretching to try and keep employees on the payroll, but instead of having schedules that are 40 hours a week, maybe it's 38 hours a week or 35 hours a week.
Right.
Okay, or 30 hours a week. Okay.
So wages are going down?
The wages, the number is, so you're still earning $20 an hour.
Right.
But you're not getting as many hours.
Not many hours.
The actual income level is going down.
Going down, right. Okay.
But it doesn't classify as a layoff.
Mm.
So when we look at the unemployment numbers, it doesn't classify as a layoff yet. Okay. But employers are really trying to keep him, because it's so tough to find great people. God.
A lean back, we'll call it. It's not a layoff.
Yes.
We're just leaning back a little bit.
It's a lean back. Exactly. All right. Thanks, Mike. Okay. Really? Okay. And so, they know how difficult it is to get great employees. So trying to do everything they can to keep them on the books until we have to get to the point where it's an actual layoff. But the system, as far as hours work, is getting thinner and thinner. Okay. So I'm not here really to give everybody gloom and doom.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, I think this is a time that we really should pay attention to what we're calling our 90-day prep plan, to make sure that you are spending this next 90 days. Actually, what is it, about 85 days now? Okay, left, getting ready and putting all effort that you can into making sure that you have taken advantage of this hiatus. Because as we get closer and closer, we're going to feel more and more pressure, unless, again, someone is able to convince the administration that we need to do something different. Okay. First prep plan. Summer is coming.
Mm-hmm.
What do we normally do in the summer?
Spend, go on vacation.
Okay. Spend, go on vacation. I got something in the mail. I hope you can see it. See that?
So basically you saying staycation.
Okay. It was okay, and I think it's the I Love New York Visit Syracuse guide.
Yes.
Everything official guide for Syracuse, Central New York, and the Finger Lakes region. There are some tremendous opportunities between parks and events that happen and wineries and beaches and Adirondacks and all kinds of things, okay, that would limit your expenses around your vacations for the summer and still have a great time.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, I don't know. Do you have a favorite park, Mike?
Favorite park?
Yeah.
You brought up beaches. There's one that I found last year called Southwick. It's about an hour and 15 up north.
Yeah.
Great beach.
Southwick.
You almost want to think you were in upstate New York.
Really? Yeah. Okay, I haven't been to that one. Okay.
Fairhaven is another one up there.
Okay.
And they're close by each other. Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of test you right now, Mike. What was the fee to get into that?
Oh, whatever it wasn't much. Somebody in the car could cover
You had it covered. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, I know that most of them, many of them are well within reason.
Well,
Much less than putting yourself in a plane or driving across country to get
it.
to Florida. Okay.
there's also like this New York State parks, and if you
Yes.
you can buy a yearly park pass, and that gets you into any state park anywhere in the state. And I got a park that I haven't been to in years that I recommend that people go to.
Which one
And
is
now
that?
I can't remember the name of it, so we're gonna keep. But it's okay. So help me out here, guys. You probably can figure this out. It's like south of Rochester, and it's like the Grand Canyon of the East. So Michael,
Letchworth?
yes, thank you. Letchworth, yes, Letchworth,
Okay.
right? See,
It's very nice. It is.
it's
Letchworth.
spectacular. Like
Yes. Yeah.
that is a wonder. Like if you have
Yes.
never been through Letchworth, I put that on your list if you're looking for something unique and something. It's amazing. You know
It
what
is
else?
it's a special. It's very special.
I
Okay.
don't know how we got on this, but I'm gonna give you another one.
Okay.
In Ithaca, my sister came up a few years ago, and they were literally chasing waterfalls.
Yes.
And of course, so they have all the waterfalls in Ithaca. And one of the waterfalls that was spectacular was Robert Treman State Park. There's also Buttermilk Falls.
I was about to say
There's
buttermilk. Yeah. Okay.
Buttermilk Falls. Where you walk up the side, there's also
Mm-hmm.
Taganek Falls. But
Mm-hmm.
Treman is like what's Raiders of the Lost Ark? There's a it's to me it's like that because you're walking down and there's a cliff and an edge and the little river. It's these are great little staycations, but we've had such a wonderful time just chasing waterfalls in Ithaca. They got the little falls, they got all that stuff.
Now, as a board member for the CNY Lyme Alliance, I'm just got to throw it out there and tell everyone to
Please.
make sure that you're protecting yourselves. New York State is a hotspot for tick and Lyme
Yes,
disease
yes.
and other tick-borne illnesses. So please reach out to me if you have a question about that. Or just look up CNY Lyme Alliance and learn more about that.
Thank you, Mike, because we do need to make sure that everybody pays attention to the safety features when you're outdoors. But George, okay, all those parks that you talked about are incredible. I felt like I was in Jurassic Park when I was there in Ithaca because the
Right.
fog came up while we were in the falls.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but
Beautiful.
here's yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
But here's our point. We want to make sure that staycations are on your list. Plan now. I think that parks are going to be filled because everybody's going to be thinking about ways to save money. So if you need to check, especially on campgrounds and things of that nature, go ahead and start working on your reservations to make sure that you have those things reserved if you need campsites and things of that nature. Other things that we want to look at also is what are you doing concerning your tax planning during this time period? I heard a lot of folks going, hallelujah, I got this big tax return. But what does a big tax return really represent?
Money you could have had in your pocket invested.
There you go. Money you could have had in your pocket instead of having it sit on the federal government's balance sheet until the end of the year. So work and reach out to your financial advisor, to your wealth planner, to your financial planning associate to have a tax analysis run because we can do that by have software that will run a tax analysis for those individuals who are financial planning clients with us that will show you exactly any tax savings and how to drive possibly more income into your paycheck. We're going to need it, particularly if we have layoffs,
Yeah.
if we have stretching of the hours, things of that nature. Mike, do you have
Absolutely.
something else you want to add to that?
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's one of the uh very strong misconceptions out there. It's like, when people hit another tax bracket, or they get a job, they start making a little bit more money, they just expect that they are going to start owing and things like that, or even the fact of you owing taxes means that you made too much money, and that's not the case. Taxes, it's a year-long balancing act. So all you have to do is make sure you look at both sides to understand what's going on. You understand the credits, you want to understand your expenses, your deductions, and everything like that. And it doesn't matter what income you make, you can make it so that it's more favorable to you.
All right then. And the final thing I want to say, George, is um I don't know. I get teased all the time about the length of time that I've been in the business, and that I've seen all these issues happen as far as different areas of the economy. And there's one thing though that I really understand, okay, when we go through times of stress, and that is this: prayer works.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it works. Reach out to the people that you care about. Make sure that they're okay. Make sure that you're sharing, that you're conscious around those things that are happening around you in your spiritual life. Reach out to your pastor if you need to, your priest, your imam. Make sure, okay, that you're taking care of yourself during this time period. So at this point, George, I'm going to say that's our 90-day prep plan. Love to hear. I know Mike would. Okay. In fact, his number is 315-748-5540. 315-748-5540. He would be happy, and I would be happy to talk to you concerning anything that you have on your mind, but don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have something that you need help with. And at this point in time, I'll say our plate is full.
All right, Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC. Mike Jennings is a wealth advisor and financial planning associate. Both are representatives of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki is America's Money Maven, and Michael is your friendly neighborhood advisor.